Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Medyo maaga tayo today sapagkat ang ating guest, isa sa mga pinakainahangaan nating atleta sa ating generasyon, and now after many years of playing for the country ay nag-venture out into a new role as an NSA official, and she's back with a big bang. Kaso nga lang in the middle of the tournament na foiled dito because of her injury. We will talk now to the OG Blue Girl, the Secretary General of Amateur Softball Association of the Philippines, Miss Cheska Altomonte. Magandang umaga and thank you so much for joining us. Natuloy na rin ang ating interview.
Magandang umaga. At thank you din for inviting me.
Sabi nga sa conversation natin with Coach Ana Santiago dun sa Messenger, ikaw raw ang right authority to speak about softball kasi alam niyo naman experience-wise, ikaw na sa likod at harap ng softball field, being an athlete and an NSA official, particularly Secretary General, and of course being one of the members of the POC Athletes Commission, which we'll be talking also to it later. But first of all, I'm kind of impressed sa pinapakita na performance ng ating Blue Girls sa Canada Cup. Kahit pa paano nagkaroon kayo ng decent finish, and I think kahapon nag-courtesy call din sila with the training era of PSC. So, kumusta na ang team ngayon as far as you're concerned? Tuloy ba ang training sa Rizal and building up for the next competitions?
Yes, actually. So, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung training nila every day doon sa Rizal Memorial Baseball Stadium. So, we're preparing ngayon for the Asian Games. So, I'm sure as you're all aware, medyo nasa rebuilding phase kami ngayon for the Blue Girls. So, from 2019, umalis na marami ng mga veterans. So, pati both on those playing dito sa Pinas, tsaka yung mga PhilAms namin. So, yung Canada Cup was the first tournament na nilaro namin since the pandemic or since the Southeast Asian Games. Actually, wala masyadong training, tsaka madaming bago players. So yeah, I'm actually very happy with the results of the tournament, given now it's the first time that the new Blue Girls, a lot of new players local, and the new PhilAms that we are pulling in, first time for them to play together. So hindi pa kami nag training before that. So we had maybe 2-3 days of training before the actual tournament. New coaching staff, new players. So overall, I think it was a really good turnout. So that was where a lot of the older players, the veterans, were able to, pass down the culture, I guess, and the mentality, the winning mentality that we want to the new players. But it translated, I think, very well. So I think the delay of the Asian Games actually worked in our favor. Given that we're in the rebuilding phase, new players, at least it gives us another year to prepare, especially because like here in the Philippines, we're far behind the other countries in terms of handling the COVID situation. So it's only, really recently that pwede na mag-training ulit. So, ayun.
But it seems na medyo you are heading into the long process or long preparations for the Asian Games because na-postpone ito to next year, September in China.
Yes, so long preparation, we have 1 year. Actually, as of now, there's a lot of moving pieces. We are unsure who will be able to play by next year or who will be able to coach still by next year. So, yeah, maybe within the next month or two, we'll be able to give you a more final direction and plan for the Blue Girls. But as of now, we are continuing training. But yeah, at least it gives us more time to prepare, which I'm happy about.
We all know si Cheska has been retired from Philippine softball 3 years ago. Your last tournament was in 2019 SEA Games in Clark, where you made an announcement that you will be setting lamp for good for the national team. But after a few years, you have decided to come back as one of the veterans of the squad. What was the inside story about it? And of course, give credit also to the two coaches, Coach Ailey and Coach Ambert, who have played with you before, but nagbago na yung direction nila. Eventually, they were mentored you.
Yeah. So, yung story doon is since yun nga si Hailey tsaka si Amber naging coaches, um, and a lot of our veterans have already left, so they're pursuing different things already. They needed also someone to come in, to help guide the team, as a player. And, we haven't found a replacement catcher yet. So that was also one of the factors playing into to all of this. So yeah, they asked me to come back and play for the tournament. But this was also really just a transition period. That's how I would like to look at it. So um I came in to play again, but Anne is our captain now, and Sky Elizar is the co-captain, or they were co-captaining together. So that's one of the responsibilities already taken away from me. Like because again, this should be a transition period. We're setting up the next generation of players for success. So I don't know if I'm going to be playing again. So that's going to be again the decision of the coaches. We're gonna have to talk about it. And I mean, I tore my MCL, so we don't even know if I'll physically be able to play again soon, but we'll see. We'll see about that.
Clarify lang, during the pandemic, marami mga players ng Blue Girls ay nagsialisa na to have a new jobs outside of softball.
Yes, yes, yes. So they decided to move on with their chosen career paths.
Okay, so as one of the catchers of the team, substitute kung tawagin, did you miss the adrenaline and the competitive edge, whether in the field for training and of course competitions as well? Because Canada Cup is your first ever competition since you have unretired.
Yeah, honestly, it felt like no time has passed at all. I still felt like it was one of those, like tournaments from before. It was easy to come back mentally. I think it was harder physically, hence the injury. But yeah, I mean, it was just like it has always been, which it was nice to come back and play. I was very happy about it.
And you also look forward to team up with your former teammates. Plus, I think you have 14 newcomers into the lineup. How was your adjustments in your training and of course strength and conditioning and the camaraderie by the team in every practices, scrimmages and games in Rizal?
Right. So actually, we have a strength and conditioning coach. So Coach Nathan Futalan is our full-time strength and conditioning coach, which is great because he has a program for us year round. And like that's helped really with skills wise also, like it translates well in the field. So thank you, Coach Nate, for that. But I think one of the good things about softball, and this has always been the case, is that it's we adjust easily when it comes to what you're mentioning, camaraderie, or like getting along with each other in the field. So over the past few years, like we've had some newcomers come in. We've always had to adjust to new players. But both sides always adjust well. And I think that was the case also this time around. So there are new players. But again, with we still have some veterans in the team that's able to lead the team well, and make sure the transition is done properly and that everybody gets along. Like I think that's just the culture I think of the Blue Girls. And again, like I saw no problems between those the players that have been playing in the States and the players that have been playing in the Philippines. Like I did not see any issues with them. So it was a lot of, like, I think they were able to adjust well on the spot.
And with the addition of Coach Ailey and Coach Amber into the lineup and the leadership being given by the team captains Sky and Anna, and did you started to adapt and develop with the training program or system just like the other ones that used to be the RP Blue Girls program, including Coach Anna, Coach Randy, and others?
So all the coaches, actually, even the previous coaches, are still part of the team. Yes, there were a lot of changes with regards to the program. I think a lot of good changes and a lot of add-ons, which really helped the team, and which I think obviously showed given the performance of the team, given that it's a completely new team, right? That was thrown together and put together for the Canada Cup. So that program we are going to be carrying forward or carrying on as they continue to train now in Rizal. So I think it's moving forward like for the better. With regards to the coaches Haley and Amber, we are actually still unsure if they are able to come back given that they have full-time jobs in the States. And the timing of Asian Games, like it was pushed back so that it's later on in September, if I'm not mistaken, like late September to October, which coincides with their fall season. So again, I mentioned earlier a lot of moving pieces, but we have a program, we're following a program, we know what direction we want to take the team, and we're doing everything we can to of course medal in the Asian Games.
By the way, Coach AD and Coach Amber have their full-time coaching jobs in the prestigious universities in the United States. But in that case that the RP Blue Girls have a tournament coming up, are you willing to fly back to join the training? Is you
The coaches, you mean?
Yes.
They are unable to commit right now because again, they have full-time jobs in the States. And one of the main reasons also that they came back to help us, like they wanted to give back to the program. They care so much for our program. But the delay in the Asian Games kind of messed with everyone's schedules. So we still have to see. They, of course, if they could, they would. But again, that's they have to prioritize, and I understand that they have to prioritize their full-time jobs.
Since you have been back into training there before the Canada Cup last June, how do you balance your training program and of course doing paperwork and facilitate all requirements to fly out of the country as section of ASAPIL? Alam ko, ikaw yung pinakamaaga na umalis before your other teammates there.
Yes. Well, I did a lot of help with admin work before already, like when I was still captain of the team. So it was manageable. We did fly earlier because we held a tryout in LA prior Canada Cup. And then from there we had to work on the paperwork, a lot of that. So I think I love the team, so I'll do anything for the team. And if that means having to handle all of that, I will. So that's just me giving back to the sport as well.
Let's go to the competition right now. The Blue Girls have a 3-2 route in the Canada Cup, facing some of the best softball squads in the world, including those who are topping the world rankings. So how was your team performance all in all the tournament? And how do you see is this as a big improvement? Because alam natin yung Blue Girls matagal na nagpahinga since the pandemic.
Yeah. So I feel like we definitely could have done better. But given that again, new players, new coaches, everything, like I think it was decent, right? So in the beginning, it was a little rough. Again, lots of errors, lots of things that we needed to adjust. But towards the end of the tournament, we looked more like a team, which is great. So the coaches also were able to adjust. The players were able to adjust. Again, and that shows like, given more time that we will be able to do better. But again, like, given it was a new team, like I'm happy with the showing. But it's still not where I want the Blue Girls to be.
During one of the games that played as a Blue Girl in the Canada Cup, you have suffered with a torn MCL. Could you share to us how is the recovery thus far, and have you undergo rehab in that case?
Yes. So I tore my MCL in the second game, second game pa lang. And it's a grade 2 partial tear or severe sprain. So I don't need surgery. So I just have to go, do rehab, a lot of strengthening. I underwent PRP maybe 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I mean it's going like we also have our physical therapist, Dr. Christine Magtibay. So thank you, Dr. Tin, for helping me through the process, the recovery process. Yeah, so I think it's going well. It's going a bit slowly, but it's going well.
With an outstanding stint in the Blue Girls in the past competition, the Canada Cup, how do you see it as a moral boost in preparation for much bigger tournaments like the Asian Games in 2023?
Well, actually, kailangan talaga yung mga international exposure na yun bago mag-Asian Games. So I'm hoping then by next year, bago mag-Asian Games, there are a couple of international tournaments that we can play in. Probably the Canada Cup, again, International Cup. I'm not sure what else there are, but medyo important talaga mga to. And yes, like it does help. It really does help with the, actually that's what helps the most. More than the training, more than anything, it's this international exposure, playing games. Especially because here in the Philippines, like wala tayong masyadong game time, diba? So we don't have a pro league, we don't have, or a semi-pro league. So it's really through that lang na ma-level up yung team.
Okay, so apart from the Asian Games, is softball included also in the SEA Games calendar? And of course, do not forget the huge dream for the squad is to qualify into the Paris Olympics na muntik na tayo makuha sana nung qualify sa Tokyo.
Right. So unfortunately for us, hindi siya kasama sa Cambodia, hindi din siya kasama sa Paris. So medyo long-term planning din kami ng team kasi it's the LA 2028 where it's back in the Olympics. And I guess the following SEA Games after Cambodia, if ever, hopefully na makakasama siya ulit.
What was your teammates' reaction and of course your closest friends too on social media on you getting back on track playing for the country after many years of hanging up your jersey? It was 3 years, but it was fun that you have been back as a Blue Girl.
A lot of them weren't surprised. I mean, a lot of them know how much I love playing. So they weren't surprised. A lot of them were very, they encouraged me to do it as well. Sabi nila na while I still can, you should, like, I should play. So yeah, it was good. Support. I had really good support with that. And I'm still getting that support now with my recovery process with my knee.
While we are heading into the long-term plan of competing in the Asian Games, is there any possibility to continue its training for several upcoming competitions, either this year or next year? Looking for ways to find new talents that will be vying for spots in the national team, and of course, materializing. Tama nga nabanggit mo, magkakaroon na kayo hopefully ng semi-pro league para sa softball. Para naman doon sa mga collegiate players na lampas na sa eligibility.
As always, like for the team, we want the best team, diba? So if that means na there are going to be replacements down the line, then that's what's going to happen because we always want to put up the best team possible. So yes, we are going to continue looking for talent. Because again, like the goal is the medal, and we'll need the best talent in order to do that. But in the meantime, we're also going to train well the team that we have, especially those that are here in the Philippines. Like I think, we have a good set of athletes now. And well, hopefully we'll see what we can do with regards to, getting more game time and all the like. I mean, there's a lot I think that we can do with the sport, and it's a slow progress, but it's still progress, right? So.
Speaking of ASAPIL na ikaw yung SecGen at ang Pangulo ay of course, isa sa mga kilalang sports patrons, John N. Villar of Cebuala Villar. Was the NSA so far? I think there might be some plans ahead for the Blue Boys and the Blue Girls, especially bumabalik na yung grassroots program as many competitions have resumed already or plan to start like yung Batang Pinoy, Bigan, and hopefully palarong pambansa. You don't mind share your projects for the latter part of the year, especially the grassroots, technical, and other aspects outside of the Blue Girls national team.
Yes. So our president's actually very, very supportive when it comes to that, or like, pushing softball and trying to make softball a lot bigger here in the Philippines. So we have coaching seminars lined up, umpiring seminars, and we will have National Open again. So the plans for National Open is that, for the first time, because we've always held the National Open in Luzon, but again, we want to make it accessible to all. So we're going to have regional legs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, and then have the maybe top 2 or top 3 teams from those regional legs come play in in the grand finals. So that's what's in the pipeline for softball. We also are going to be working with, hopefully with DepEd, to have it in Palarong Pambansa, in Batang Pinoy. So yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot of work also outside of the national team program in order to push for softball.
By the way, ASAPIL is the country's softball NSA, and if you heard about the little and junior league softball teams from Negros Occidental, by the way, yung mga teams na yun ay hindi po under ASAPIL. It is already part of the Little League Philippines group under Sir Jolly Gomez. They have scored great wins there in the United States in the World Series. Are you happy with the result of hard work of the young softballers from Negros that maybe someday magiging future Blue Girls na rin?
Yes, actually, definitely. So Coach Lizvi Halandoni is actually an ASAFIL officer. She's our VP for Visayas. So she's handling one of those teams, and I don't know if you remember Ezra Halandoni. So her daughter Ezra was actually a Blue Girl, and she's coaching one of the teams, and she's based now again in Bacolod. So yes, we definitely would love, we're happy with the program that they have. We are going to be touching base with them once they get home, of course. And again, the team, we want the best possible team. So if they have a good grassroots program, and if eventually they become Blue Girls, we definitely welcome them with open arms. So lots of things to work on for the sport, and we're happy that the little league teams are doing very well right now in the World Series.
Speaking of Coach Lisby, we will try to invite Coach Lisby and the other teammates into our interviews next week to discuss the great one, 4th place finish niya nakuha dun sa Little League World Series. So we'll definitely schedule with that next week. But for now, aside from ASAPIL, and of course your full-time job as one of the officers, marketing officers of a huge multinational sports brand, you have been actively took part in the activities of the PSC Athletes Commission as one of the officers. I think meron kayong mga virtual webinars na kayo natin.
Yes. Actually, well, just to inform you, Narian, I quit my full-time job, so I am doing now all the sports things full-time. But yes, as POC Athletes Commission, we have been active. We have been holding webinars. Hopefully, we will make it face-to-face again soon. We have one more upcoming webinar end of August for yoga and meditation. Hopefully that will help with the athletes, learn the importance of it, or just give them access to that material. So yeah.
By the way, yung last webinar na ginawa was in financial literacy, and the guest speaker is actually Idilyn Diaz Narano, who just got recently married, and of course,
yes.
Nagkaroon din siya ng exhibition lift doon sa National Weightlifting Championships dyan sa Bohol. So, I'm truly proud of all the activities na ginagawa ng POC Athletes Commission for the benefit of the athletes' welfare sa lahat ng mga national athletes sa ating bansa. So, last question before we close out the show. Are we all grateful to the support of the NSA, being an NSA official, and even the PSC, POC, kasi kahapon, may courtesy call kayo kay Attorney Iroy in helping with the projects and participation of the Blue Boys and Blue Girls overseas.
Yeah, so again with PSC, like, we're very grateful because they've always been supportive of the softball program. So it was actually thanks to them that we were able to get the budget to go to the Canada Cup. And we're very thankful for that because, without them, we aren't able to really do like be this successful. So um again, like we're looking forward to more support from PSC, especially with the grassroots program. Like if they're bringing back Batang Pinoy, it would be great also to work closely with them for softball, because that, again, like if we're able to develop the grassroots program well, we're able to develop players well, and that will translate into the national team program as well, because that's where we're going to be getting our players. So I'm looking forward to working closely again, especially with PSC, in order to again make softball successful, the softball program successful. And I really think that softball is one of the sports that we can, like, Filipinos can really excel in. It's one of the sports that I think that we can really be world class level. We are already world class level, and I think we can still improve on that. So lots to look forward to, I think, with softball.
May paabol lang ako question na alam natin na maraming nagtagumpay ang mga Pilipina athletes sa overseas, Juna Chuki and the Pilipinas, and just before Idilin Diaz na nanalo ng gold sa Olympics. Have you seen this remarkable achievements of our Filipina athletes will be continue in the coming years and months from now?
Yes. Honestly, I've been keeping up with all the achievements. It's really nice to see all the achievements of the Filipinas, and I think I'm sure you've seen all the well, all even the big brands are saying that the future is female, and I think that we got to give credit also to all these amazing athletes for really going out there and showing the world class level of the Filipina athlete.
Could expect more greater things to come for the Philippine national team, the Blue Boys and Blue Girls, and definitely we'll be keeping an eye from them. And if you have a project coming up, just message us and we'll be supporting this endeavor. So, Cheska, salamat sa pag-oras na magkasama ka namin. Before we give you a closing remarks, mag-photo muna tayo para makita natin ang mga followers natin. So, thumbs up po tayo and smile. One, two, three. All right. Thank you so much, Cheska, for joining us in this wonderful discussion about softball and your closing remarks, parting words, and shout out sa lahat ng mga supporters ng softball, especially yung Blue Girls.
Yeah, so maraming salamat. Thank you for having me here in your show, and also thank you again to all our supporters. Like, I know that we've been absent for a couple of years due to the pandemic, but we really felt your presence again, like in the Canada Cup. And we hope we continue to feel your support as we, continue on and play and try to medal for the Asian Games. So thank you again for always being there.
And of course, yung social media ng Asabel, i-promote natin para sa dissemination and information ng ating mga viewers, kung nice nila na makita yung mga updates ng ating Blue Girls and Blue Boys.
Right. So Facebook page is Amateur Softball Association of the Philippines. Same for Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, you can follow us there, and any updates you need to know about the teams will be posted there.
And with that, Cheska, thank you so much. This is actually our first undertaking na kasama kita dito sa virtual interview. But next time, in the coming days or months, sana makausap ka namin at matalakay namin